Hey, good afternoon, Untamed television fans. I mean, I think it's afternoon. I'm not sure what time it is you'll be watching this, but it doesn't matter because we are here today to talk about foot and ankle problems. I kind of slurred that out, but that's what we're here today is to talk about foot and ankle problems. But right now we're going to talk about a specific one, and I'm joined today by my guest, Dr. Travis Sauter, who is a DPM, a doctor of
Podiatric medicine.
Yes. Okay. Podiatrist. A lot of people call it that, right?
Absolutely.
Right. And you and I were chatting kind of off camera, and you told me about an interesting sort of injury to the foot that is pretty common.
Yes, and that would be Achilles tendonitis or even Achilles tendon tears.
Yeah. What is that?
Well, the Achilles tendon is the largest tendon in the body. It basically is a tendon that runs down the back of the leg from your calf muscles and attaches to the back of your heel. It's the one that gives you that strong push off when you walk or run.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And so obviously something can go wrong. I mean, overextension or
definitely
a blow to it or something like that.
Well, I'll tell you, the most common is just overuse.
Really?
And that could be simply due to one's work requirements or recreational activities where you can just strain it and just overdo it to the point where that tendon just is in pain.
So maybe people that play a lot of basketball or ski or
definitely any sort of high impact athletic activity, whether it's running, jumping, jogging, exercise class, what have you. We find that a lot of people maybe get going in a new activity a little bit too quick and too soon. The weekend warrior.
Right.
So.
Yep. He, hey, I'm going to hit the slopes today. And no warm up and first time on the slope. And, let's start off big. Let's take the grizzly downhill for the very first one, something like that.
Exactly.
So the tendon, if I understand it right, it's kind of like a bungee cord, right?
Yeah, it does have some flexibility to it. But the thing about it is that it will, even though it is a cord, that does have some flexibility, it still, it suffers when we don't warm up, when we don't stretch out. One of the things that a lot of us don't do is work on flexibility as we age, especially. If we don't stay limber or flexible, it puts our tendon at risk of being strained or pulled, which can lead to kind of a chronic pain situation.
Right.
Yeah.
So what are the symptoms? How do I know I've done this to myself?
Well, there's pain in the back of the leg, down near the heel, or slightly above. There's swelling. It tends to hurt a lot when you first get up in the morning because that tendon's been kind of tightened up overnight. So those first few steps can be very painful until it warms up.
Yeah. Ouch.
So,
Ouch. So you've got that feeling, and usually just one leg, right? Or sometimes both? Or
well, you hope it's not both. 'Cause that's really tough.
That's terrible.
But oftentimes it starts with just one. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So how do you start? You go to your family doctor probably and describe it?
Oftentimes, yes. Depending on the level of pain, a lot of folks will talk with their family practice doctor first to get some ideas on treatment. If the pain's a little more severe, some people wind up on a weekend maybe in the emergency room.
Right. And then usually there's a referral to you.
Yeah. We are one of the specialists that can definitely help with this problem. As foot and ankle specialists, we see a lot of this. So,
right.
Yeah, and if a person comes to us, we definitely want to make an evaluation, of their tendon in their foot. Sometimes it may warrant X-rays because sometimes the back of the heel, a heel spur or a bone spur can be involved in the tendon problem. Oh. And so we make an evaluation with X-rays and take a look and get a feel for the patient's activity level, what they like to do, and then come up with a plan to get them back to being 100% again.
Right, so that comes to the important part. What is the plan? How is this treated? Is it a surgery? I mean, you don't automatically go to surgery.
No, oftentimes this is something that can be treated and very, very effectively without surgery. It starts with typically a regimen of activity modification where we have you get away from that real high impact sport that's causing the problem, or maybe taking some time or modified work in the workplace. A series of stretching exercises are recommended to help that tendon be more functional, and more flexible. Anti-inflammatory medicine, icing, are some very simple things that can start the process of healing.
That's great.
Yeah,
that's great. I wanted to get back to one other point, and that was just that as we age, these tendons become less flexible, and a lot of us me probably are not doing their stretching exercises.
Sure.
Describe a simple stretching exercise that a guy like me in his late 50s should be doing every day.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, first thing in the morning, like I said, tends to be the time of most pain because the tendon has been tight overnight. And so a simple thing, you can, before you even get out of bed, you can kind of roll out, put the feet down on the ground, and just pull the toes towards the nose, we like to say.
Really?
And pull the feet back and feel that pull in the back of the calf. You can even use a towel and wrap it around the front of the foot and pull back. Pull the foot back towards you to stretch that out. Another simple exercise or stretching exercise to do is to lean, forward, doing what we call a runner stretch. You put your foot behind you, you lean forward, and you let that calf really stretch out. And so, if these are done, let's say 3 times a day, maybe a few repetitions on each leg, that usually is a good preventative way to hopefully keep this away or to treat something that started.
Right. Follow a similar routine to stretch? I mean, before you go skiing, before you play basketball, racquetball, pickleball, whatever.
That's the thing, is that warm up. And that, because sometimes, especially with basketball or some of these other really, jumping type, high impact sports, the weekend warrior, we see a lot of Achilles tendon ruptures where the tendon actually will tear completely. And a lot of that could be prevented by warming up. And so, doing a walk where you just simply warm the muscles up is very effective even before you stretch. So you warm yourself up a little bit with a walk or a brisk walk. Then you do the stretching. That's more effective than simply cold stretching, and that can really get you in a better place to help prevent an injury.
Go a long way.
Yeah.
You said that the tendon can actually tear. Can that be repaired?
Absolutely. I mean, we've many of you sports fans have probably seen these things happen, whether it's to Dan Marino back in the day or Kobe Bryant or there's even many players that have had this happen on the court, and those tendon ends actually completely pull apart, and we are able to fix those, and we're able to do it now through very small incisions where we can minimize the risk and the healing. We can minimize the healing time as well by doing the repair through very small incisions.
On that, is that a full-on surgery?
It is.
It is. So that you have to go under.
It is. It can be done as outpatient surgery, home the same day, and it does require a period of some non-weight bearing. But like I said, with the new techniques we use now, we can get people back on the playing field within a few months, much quicker than it used to be.
Right.
Yeah.
Is this more common in older people than younger? Or
no, we see. I've seen this injury in late teens to the elderly as well. I would say the most common population you see this in is probably the 40 to 60 range. And like I said, especially those the weekend warriors.
Those guys that just haven't realized that they've aged. None of us like to do it, but
I know.
I'm still 20. I can still do it.
Hey, it can happen to any of us. So
that's interesting. That's interesting. Well, this is Dr. Travis Sauter, and you're the name of your practice again. Remind me.
Yes, it's Cook Foot and Ankle Specialists. We have locations in Logan and Brigham City.
Right.
And so we're happy to help out with anybody in their injuries or problems with the foot and ankle.
That's great. We're going to throw the television number up right about here any second now, and we'll let that happen.
Awesome.
And I think that if you're out there and you feel like this has happened to you, check it out. Go get it checked out. And if it hasn't happened to you, don't let it happen to you.
Yeah.
Take his advice. Do your stretching exercises.
Yes,
don't just run out and play, a full game of racquetballs. Warm up.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But don't warm up until you finish watching this show.
Yeah, that's right.
And always make sure that you're watching Untamed Television with me, your host Craig Bielik, and interesting guests like this man right here, Dr. Travis Sauter, a man who's returned from all over the United States practicing medicine right back here to Utah where he likes it.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Untamed TV fans, we'll see you later.